How to take the major components of the Glock slide out. First, remove the slide from the frame. Take your recoil spring and recoil rod, your guide rod out, your barrel, and you're left with the slide itself. You have to push down on the striker sleeve. It's a little plastic sleeve, and you will see when we remove it what it looks like. You have to get your punch, fit it right underneath on top of the sleeve, push down to relieve pressure, and the back slide plate comes right out. Keep your thumb over the back, remove, and then you can go ahead and you can remove your striker and your sleeve and your components. Your extractor bar, and then you have your striker safety here, and your ejector right over here. To remove this guy, to remove your ejector, push down on the striker safety, and the ejector should drop out. Sometimes they get a little bit finicky because they're a little dirty. And then you have your striker safety, your striker safety spring, your ejector. I'll set these to the side. You have your striker sleeve, your spring, and there's two plastic cups that hold the spring in place. So in order to remove these plastic cups, you have to push down and release the pressure on them, and they will drop right out. Just be careful not to let the spring go, or they'll fly across the room. Striker spring, your striker, and a striker sleeve. Those are those components. To reinstall, slide your striker back in. Spring goes right above it. Now the easiest way to install it back again is you take your slide and you drop a striker right on top of it this way. You can push down on the spring, and you have to carefully insert these cups back in there. These are about a 50-cent part, but if you lose them, you won't be able to use your gun, and you'll wait about 3 days or 4 days before you order them back, before you order them and they arrive in the mail. Striker, the cups, drop them right back down into the well. Leave this extractor plunger, your extractor plunger spring. Just remember, metal to metal, plastic to plastic. We'll insert that in a minute. Reverse back, drop in your ejector. Sometimes it's good to have a tool in case these parts get a little finicky. Make sure that the spring on the striker safety is inserted in. Make sure it's vertical. Sometimes the spring will shift. Push it straight down. Your ejector should just drop right in. When you release, the spring tension will hold your ejector back in there again. Go on ahead and take your striker assembly, slide it all the way back in again, and your extractor plunger. Just remember, plastic to plastic and metal to metal. Since this back cover is plastic, this section here with the piece of plastic has to come on top. This drops down in there. Take ahead the back plate, just slide it in here to begin with, just to start it off. Then just carefully push down using your tool. The components. And the back plate will lock in. To test out to make sure it's correct, what you can do is push down on the striker safety. If you push down on the striker safety, you should be able to see that the striker exits. When you pull back and the striker safety is engaged, you push forward and the striker should not exit. Drop your barrel back in, your guide rod and guide rod spring. Everything resets. Looks good. Now it's just time to test fire.